Hi, this is Junk Journaling 101, and this video will be on glues. There's many different glues out on the market, and one reason why I wanted to touch on glues was because there's so many different kinds, and each one has their place and purpose. A lot of them do the same things, and then some of them have different water contents and whatnot, and so that actually affects your paper, especially when we're talking about paper crafts, because the paper is porous and it absorbs water, it absorbs moisture, all that stuff. So the first one I'm going to touch on is Yes Paste. This Yes Paste is acid free. It's an all-purpose stick flat glue. It is a paste, so it's very, very thick. It's very, very thick, and I apply it it lasts for a long time, and I apply it with a credit card, just an old credit card. I just dip it in and then smooth it on my paper, just like that, to get a thin, even application on there. It says you can apply it with a brush. I usually don't. It gets gummed up in the brush and I have a hard time getting it out. It is water soluble, so it will wash out with soap and water. But I just find the credit card easier because it just wipes right off the credit card. So anything you can put it on with anything that you want, but what I found that works best is a credit card. So the reason why I use Yes Paste is because for bookbinding, I can spread it on the cover of a book and put my paper down, and because it's a paste, it has less water in it, so therefore I get less warping of the paper. I get less warping of the hard cover. Now, if I'm using cereal box or a lightweight chipboard type product, I do get some warping sometimes, but all I have to do is set it under 2 or 3 heavy books and let it set for 24 hours, and it usually flattens right out. The other thing I like it for too is I do decorative painting, or I have done decorative painting on cardstock that I've glued to the cover of a book. And with acrylic paints, it's water-based. So a lot of times, if I have to put more than 2 or 3 layers of acrylic paint on to paint like a flower or something like that, then the cardstock will sometimes loosen with the glue. The nice thing about Yes Paste is that whenever it's moist, all I have to do is let the paint dry a little bit and then put something heavy on it with a piece of wax paper, and it re-glues to the book because it activates the glue again because it is moist. So it's kind of a nice aspect of the Yes Paste. So but the biggest one is that it has less water content. So I've also used it for collage work, and it works really well with collage work too as the bottom glue, and then I go over it with like a collage medium. Talking about collage medium, a lot of people like to use Mod Podge. You won't see me use Mod Podge. The reason why is because even the matte one stays sticky for me. I live in a humid climate, and even though I find that it dries, if it becomes really humid, it reactivates, and therefore anything and everything sticks to the cover of the book. I don't like putting baby powder or anything. I know that's been a recommendation, to brush powder over the top of it, but it just doesn't look clean to me after I do it. So one thing I found is this. It's Collage Podge. It is from the makers of Aleene's. So Aleene's Tacky Glue, the Turbo Tacky, and the Triple Thick Tacky Glues. It is an instant decoupage, and it is matte. And when it's sealed, it's water resistant. It's a glue, it's a sealer, and it's finished. And this one I really, really like. It doesn't have an odor to it. The Yes Paste doesn't have an odor. I don't have. The only one that has an odor to it is the Fabri-Tac. And I'll explain that in a minute. But but this one is really nice for just kind of a thin glue. Now, because it is thin, it is water-based. Even though when it's dry, it's water-resistant. But it does wrinkle the paper. So if you use a lot of it, it's going to wrinkle up. Your paper is going to shrivel, depending on the type of paper. If you use a thinner paper, it's going to shrivel. Cardstock, it doesn't shrivel as much, but it does warp. It does show wet if you use a lot of this. So keep that in mind. Also, if you're going to use this like over the top of something that you've printed out from your computer, keep in mind it will make the image run on an inkjet printer. I believe on I don't have a laser printer, so I don't know. I would test it out, but usually laser printer doesn't react with water, things that have been printed out. So, but inkjet printer, it will make the image run if you get a lot on there. I found that if I take just a brush, a light brush, and do one thin swipe and let that completely dry and don't move the brush back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, that as long as it's really thin, that it won't move the image. It'll actually seal the image down to where you can go back over it and put another coat on it. You can also use a credit card or just something thin, or even take your brayer, and if you have a brayer, and a thin coat, and just run the brayer once up the page, and it'll actually help seal the image as well. So this is a really good product too that I recommend. The other one that I like is this is Studio Multi-Medium. This is Claudine Helmuth, but it's by Ranger. Ranger, I think, has a matte medium. It's the same product, matte medium. They just put it in their different lines. I think the other one is the Collage, Distressed Collage medium. That one, there's one that's just a matte, and that it's the same product. So it's basically matte medium. You can get it by Golden. You can get it by Liquitex. It is more of a pricey product, so it's something that I use a lot for like sealing my covers, sealing any kind of artwork or anything that I want done as a final finisher. I don't use it a lot for just strictly glue because it is more pricey. But this product I really, really like. You can use it for decoupage. It has a wonderful finish. It's self-leveling. It's a great product to use. Okay, this one I just used the other day, and it's the newest one. It's one that people have been talking about that they really, really like. It's Art Glitter Glue. It doesn't have any glitter in it. It actually is a clear adhesive. It's designed to be used with glitter. And so, but it's also designed to be used with other things. It is permanent. It is water-based. It dries acid-free. And it dries completely clear. I have to attest to the fact that it does dry clear. You can't see it once it's dry. It's very hard to see on the paper. So they do have bottles that have little thin tips on them. I just got the big refill bottle because I had these bottles here, and this is just a fine line bottle. This in screws. It's got a little pin in the top of it, and it seems to have been stuck in there. Okay, it's not supposed to do that. Hang on. There we go. And so it's not supposed to stick in there like that, but there's just this little pin that goes down there, and it keeps the tip of it clear so that you can write with a fine line with it. So I'll have to see why this works. They sell Art Glitter Glue has it's like a stick pin that you put down in there and then pull it out. They have a very fine tip like this too, but the tip is clean. So with that, but this one works really well. I was really happy with that glue. So glue sticks. I like glue sticks. Like if I'm doing collage or decoupage or something like that, something that I'm going to seal over or put other glue on top of that'll soak down in. The problem I find with glue sticks is they don't hold forever. They will like dry to the point that they'll come off. So I don't use glue stick a lot, but that is glue stick. Fabri-Tac. A lot of people have started using Fabri-Tac, and it is a great product. It is by Beacon. There is the Fabri-Tac. There's also 3-in-1. These are not water-based glues. They are acid-free. They're washable, meaning that you can wash them. You can put them on material and wash them after they're dry. It bonds fabric, lace, glass, leather, woods, and trims. It is a grab fast and it dries clear. They are it has a high odor content because it's not water-based, it's actually solvent-based in glue. So with that, but the thing about it is that because it's solvent-based, it doesn't wrinkle the paper. It is expensive, but if you want one glue to do everything for you, I would go with a Beacon Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1, and then you're not changing back and forth. I just have my preference, and glue is a personal preference. There is not a difference between like, you know, if you wanted to use tacky glue by all means instead of Yes Paste, that's fine. They do the same thing. Art Glitter Glue does the same thing than that. And technically, it does the same thing as Fabri-Tac. It's just that Fabri-Tac is a solvent-based glue instead of a water-based glue. So those are the only differences. Like I said, there's a lot of glues do the same things. There's just there's a lot of personal preference when using glues. So I would recommend, if you don't know, just to check out different glues and see which one you like best with your paper. Just do a couple of tests and see what you like better. Okay, so now we're getting into these two products. These are glues. Ranger has Glossy Accents, and Judikins has Diamond Glaze. They are water-based. They are dimensional adhesives. What that means is you can make a little dot on your paper with this, and it'll actually stay a dot. It stays glossy. It looks like a glass finish. So, say you're trying to put two papers together, and as you glue them together, the glue squirts out on the edge and you rub it off. Now the thing about this is it will stay glossy. You'll be able to see that glue until forever. So with something like the Art Glitter Glue, which dries matte and dries completely clear, you shouldn't be able to see it. Matte medium, you shouldn't be able to see when that happens. Now with black cardstock, that can be different. So I would just test out your glues and see how they dry on the black cardstock, because black can be different. But this one will always show glossy. It doesn't matter what cardstock you use, what paper you use, or anything like that. It will always show glossy. I like using this for, like, if there is something that I want to highlight. Let's say this butterfly here, I wanted to make it stand out. So I would run the fine tip around here and put Glossy Accents all over the butterfly, let it dry, and it's actually going to show glossy then. So that it would actually stand out. Instead of being matte, it's going to show, it's going to shine and be, it stick out as an embellishment on the page without even having to do anything to the page or put anything else on the page. It will just show as a different embellishment. So it's a very nice product for that. Now, one thing with inkjet printers with the Glossy Accents, it does make the colors run too. So if you did want to put Glossy Accents over the top of this, say butterfly, I would take a little, excuse me, matte Collage Page and rub over it, or something like that. The other thing that you could do would be you can use microglaze on it. Microglaze is another product. It is it was designed by a designer. Judikins had it for a while, and then Ranger has it in their line now. It's distressed microglaze with it. But anyway, what it does is it seals anything that's water acceptable to water. So let's say distress inks or inkjet printers or anything like that. When you put water on them, it can make the colors run. And this, if you put microglaze down, then it stops that from happening. So you can use a little bit of microglaze and then put the diamond glaze or the Glossy Accents over the top of it. I've done it before with just a little bit of matte, either matte medium or Collage Page, and just put it over the area, and then highlighted the area with the Glossy Accents after it dries. And that works too, so that the colors don't run. So, okay. Like I said, these are water-based products. These are not solvent-based products. So that's the reason why they make the colors run as well. So I haven't tried Fabri-Tac or a solvent-based glue over the top of it inkjet print. I know when you put it on the bottom, it doesn't make the top of it run, but I don't know about over the top. So, because I've never had a need to put it over the top of anything. So, so that's glues in a nutshell. That's the information that I have on glues. If you have any questions about glues or anything like that, just let me know. If you have specific glue that you want to know about, we can find out together. If I don't know the answer, I can help you look it up and find the answer for you. So I hope that helps a little bit. Good luck in your journey, and have a blessed day, and enjoy.